Hi there, and welcome to Ian's Engage channel. I'm Ian. With Christmas just around the corner, I thought I'd take a look into my toolbox and pick out a few of the tools that I think would make good gifts for the enthusiastic railway modeller starting out on their modelling journey. I've chosen mostly cheaper items that I think would make excellent stocking fillers. Oh, and there are 12 tools just to give that 12 days of Christmas vibe. So, let's get on with it. My first pick is a really handy little USB-powered drill. While not the most powerful of drills, I found mine to be very useful. I run mine from a USB power pack that can power the drill for hours. Mine came with a box of small drill bits, although I seem to have misplaced those for the time being. I've used the drill mainly for creating holes in sleepers for track pins in Pico streamlined track. As well as sleepers, the drill is perfectly capable of drilling into other materials such as softwoods and plastic, but it does struggle with harder materials such as plywood and MDF. However, when you've got hundreds of holes to drill into sleepers, the convenience of a small powered drill beats having to use a manual pin vise all day long. Sticking with the drilling theme, my next pick is a drill guide. I'd never actually heard of a drill guide until earlier this year, and I'm so pleased to have finally discovered them. The tool is used to guide a drill bit in order to drill holes that are perpendicular to the material you're drilling into, and ensures that the bit doesn't wander off at an angle. The one I'm using here has holes ranging from 3mm to 12mm, but other drill guides are available that cover different size ranges. It also has markings along the sides to enable you to line up on the centre line. This little gadget makes drilling holes for dropper wires a breeze. I only wish I'd discovered drill guides before building my baseboards, as my bolt holes would have been drilled way more accurately. My next pick is a multimeter. I've been using mine a lot recently, but they're always handy to have around, as you never know when you'll need one. The main thing I've used mine for is continuity testing, when either testing dropper wire connectors or testing joints between sections of track. For this reason, I've changed out the fly leads on mine with those terminating in crocodile clips rather than the more usual needle probes. When I get into adding more electronic components to the layout, I suspect I'll also be using the multimeter to check for current and voltage levels across component inputs and outputs. Mine is a pretty basic, inexpensive model, but it's done everything I've asked of it so far. I definitely recommend one for any railway modeller, as they're an excellent tool for testing and investigating faults, such as short circuits, air gaps and dry joints. My next pick is a must for any messy modeller, and let's face it, that's probably all of us. It's a mini vacuum cleaner. I've gone for a cordless model that can be charged from a USB port. It's actually sold as a computer keyboard vacuum, but I've found it to be absolutely indispensable for cleaning up all sorts of mess, usually after cutting, sanding or drilling something. I also suspect it would be excellent at picking up loose static grass that hadn't been secured to scenery. This could then be easily retrieved from the dust collector and reused. As a bonus, you can even use it to pick up crumbs from your computer keyboard, should you need to. Building a model railway usually involves an awful lot of wiring, so my next pick is a pair of wire strippers. I've gone for a pair that also has tools for cutting and crimping wire, although I have to admit that I haven't had much use for those features. They'll strip wire from as thin as 22 AWG up to as thick as 10 AWG, which is a range of between about 0.2mm and 6mm in diameter. The amount of casing that's stripped from the wire can be adjusted, and there's a tensioner that can be used to adjust the strength of the cut if the wire isn't being gripped securely. Here, the green wire I'm stripping is 22 AWG. The red wire is 16 AWG, which is the gauge I use for my DCC bus. A bit like the multimeter, I've been using these wire strippers a lot recently, and have found them to be an extremely reliable tool. My next pick is a utility knife. I tend to use a utility knife a lot, and finding the right one for me took quite a while. I ended up with a retractable blade model made by Alpha. It uses 18mm blades that usually have 8 break-off sections to them. The knife uses a ratchet system to control the extension of the blade, which is operated by a wheel on the side of the handle. This ensures that the blades are locked into place even when fully extended. The blade can be safely retracted into the handle when not in use. I love the way this knife feels in my hand. It's well balanced and incredibly comfortable to hold and use. It has proven to be a great performer as long as the blades are sharp. Replacement blades are freely available, and the standard size means that you don't have to stick to the Alpha brand, although I see no reason to change. You can probably tell I really love this utility knife, so it's highly recommended. My next pick is something else that's sharp, a pair of Xuron track cutters. I've gone for the side cutters, but vertical cutters are also available. Before discovering the Xuron brand, I used to use a pair of unbranded snips to cut my track. However, these always left rough edges on the end of the rails that always required lots of filing before a rail joiner could be fitted. I found that these Xuron cutters make an incredibly clean cut that hardly ever requires extra filing. I only ever use them to cut through rails and never use them to cut wire, pushrod, sleepers or anything else. As such, they've cut thousands of rails and have saved hours of filing and actually make cuts that are comparable to those made with a Dremel with a cutting disc. The Xuron cutters must be one of my most invaluable tools. My next pick is a soldering station, which is the most expensive item on my list by quite a way. However, it has definitely been value for money, and it's a great step up from the starter kit I began with. The station is a 60-watt model that has the ability to store 3 different temperatures between 150 and 450 degrees centigrade. I have these preset for things like soldering dropper wires to track, tinning wires, and working with electronic components. The temperature is digitally controlled and is kept to within a couple of degrees centigrade of the target, so there's never any doubt about the temperature of the iron. I think one of the best features of this soldering station is the flexibility of the cable connecting the iron to the main unit. My old soldering iron was connected directly to the main socket using a very short and rigid cable that always got in the way of whatever I was trying to solder. This cable is so much better. It allows you to manoeuvre the iron into precise locations without it being an obstruction. The iron itself takes standard size soldering bits, which are freely available from many manufacturers, so you're not tied to the Atten brand that I've gone for. While I'm still no expert at soldering, I'm pretty sure that this soldering station has helped me get to grips with at least part of the black art. My next pick is a pick itself, a guitar pick to be precise. These have been an amazing discovery for me, and I can't recommend them highly enough. I use them to help me remove loco body shells from their chassis. It's no secret that I've found it difficult removing body shells since returning to the hobby with N-gauge locos. Having no fingernails to speak of, I initially tried using toothpicks to slide between the body shell and the chassis, which used to be an effective trick when working with 00 gauge locos a lifetime ago. However, after Peter at Cheadle Heath suggested using guitar picks, I haven't looked back. In fact, I've successfully managed to gain access to all of the locos I've attempted to get into since starting to use the guitar picks. Oh, and if you're at all musical, you can even use them to play the guitar. My next pick is something a little different. And like the guitar picks, you're probably wondering what on earth it's doing on this list of tools. It's a packet of lens cloths. I use these cloths to clean my track, as well as my spectacles. They're much more robust than kitchen roll or blue roll, and can be used multiple times. You can even wash them and reuse them, so a packet should last for years. To use them, I actually wrap them around a Pico track rubber, then spray on some WD-40 contact cleaner before applying it to the track. The combination does a great job of lifting dirt and grime from the rails, and I wouldn't be without them. My next pick is something I also wouldn't be without, or more accurately, couldn't be without. It's a magnifying headset. N-gauge modelling and eyes that have stared at computer screens for nearly 50 years do not make happy bedfellows. However, with a magnifying headset, I've been able to see all of those little details again. There's absolutely no way I could have taken up modelling in N-gauge without it. My particular headset is fully adjustable, allowing both the headband tightness to be controlled along with the angle of the lens. The headset also comes with a selection of magnifying lenses. 2 of these can be stacked in combination to create a magnification factor that ranges from 1.5 to 13 times. It also contains a directional light that can be used to further enhance the detail being viewed. Here I am wearing the headset while trying to film myself and while blinding the camera as the light shines off my bald head. Anyway, I use mine for pretty much every task I perform, including soldering, loco servicing, track cutting, hand laying, decoder fitting, card cutting, kit building, painting, everything. Like I say, I simply couldn't be without it. While I haven't consciously put this list in any particular order, I have to admit that I've left my favourite tool until last. The West Hill Wagon Works rail joiner mates are simply the most useful tool in my toolbox at the moment. I used to really struggle with fitting rail joiners to N-gauge track. Having previously used my fingers, pliers and the bent rail method to fix fish plates to rails, all with little success, the rail joiner mates have been a revelation. They're cheap, easy to use and are incredibly effective, making it a pleasure to join pieces of track together, rather than the nightmare I used to find it. Before I found them, I was getting so frustrated I could quite happily have moved on to a larger scale. I don't think I'm overstating it when I say that these brilliant little tools have allowed me to stay with N-gauge. So well done West Hill Wagon Works for making a brilliant tool and for preventing me from having to change my channel name. Okay, so that's about it for my selection of gift ideas for someone beginning their model railway journey. I hope somebody will find it useful. Now, if you'll allow me to do a little self-promotion, I've put Amazon affiliate links to most of the tools I've shown in the description, so you can take a more in-depth look at them if you're interested. And of course, it always helps the channel out if you could use one of the links to purchase something. It doesn't matter what, it can be anything at all, and doesn't have to be from this list. And of course, there's no extra cost to yourself. While I've been happy with the brands that I've purchased, please make sure you do your own research and purchase the right tool for you. Also, let me know what some of your favourite tools are, or what tools you couldn't do without, as it's always interesting to hear about what other people are using, especially if they're a little off the wall. Alternatively, if you've got any hints, tips or techniques to pass on to a fellow N-gauge modeller, or if you simply want to say hello, then please do so in the comment section. Anything and everything you've got to say will be greatly appreciated. In the meantime, thanks ever so much for watching. Hopefully I'll have another update along soon. Bye.